Good evening.
Good evening. Senator Harp, Representative Walker, members of the Appropriations Committee. Thank you for this opportunity, my 10th consecutive year speaking before this committee. And before I start, I just want to, as president of the Connecticut Charter School Network, just clarify something. It's my personal belief, and I think it's the belief of most charter school operators and participants. Sometimes you hear testimony in sort of the excitement. They'll say things like charter schools are the teachers are nicer than public schools, or public schools don't do this and don't do that. Our belief is that the teachers in public schools as well as charter schools care about their kids tremendously, and everyone is there trying to do the best, and that charter schools offer a alternative for parents that works for some kids and not for others. And I just want to make sure that you understand we're not trying to have this sort of separation. I think we're very much all in the same lot. At any rate, I'm president of the Connecticut Charter School Network. I reside in Hartford, Connecticut, and I also serve as the Chief Executive Officer of Jamoki Academy. It's a 100% minority charter school located in the city of Hartford. Last year, 100% of our graduating 8th graders, including the black young men, scored 100% proficient or above in math and 92% in reading. Last Tuesday, our school's lottery turned away over 300 children, all Hartford children, with the potential to score 100% and 90%, but most likely will not. We must fix Connecticut's funding system. Are there any questions?
No, that was, I was just pulling up your testimony. Okay. No, first of all, I want to thank you for making that statement when you first came up, because the important thing is that we should never pit one organization against the other. The objective is to improve the system, and no matter what side you come in on it. So I want to thank you for that. Any questions or comments from the Representative Miller?
Thank you for the hard work that you do at your school. It's nice to hear those kind of figures. What do you do different at your school than the traditional public school in New Haven?
That's always a tough question to answer in a few minutes. But we have a very, very dedicated system towards hiring teachers that are accomplished and passionate about what they do. We provide excellent professional development for those teachers, and we focus on what we call each year eliminating barriers. So each year we pick 2 things that we think are affecting our kids from learning, and we say, okay, how are we going to eliminate those this year? And what we've noticed, each year our kids get better and better, and I think they have less and less obstacles in front of them in terms of learning. But there's really there's no simple answer. I mean, we do data-driven instruction. We assess, and we're constantly modifying our instruction to fit what is happening with the children. We have a no-excuse policy. I remember a child came in and he said that they were shooting in his neighborhood last night, and he didn't have his homework done. And my comment was to him, I'm really, really sorry about that, and maybe let's talk about that. But you have to do your homework, and we can't have any excuses for our children, because they're all in an environment or a situation which is tough, and we have to give them love and support, but still hold them to the standard that's necessary for them to do well.
Another question? Another question, Madam? Are all your teachers certified?
Yes.
Thank you.
Senator Harp?
Can you give us some examples of the barriers over the years that you've worked on, and what some of your strategies were to go beyond those barriers?
I'm gonna give you the most simplistic barrier story that we sort of tell over the years. and by the way, Representative Miller, all of our teachers are certified. However, we have had numerous opportunities to bring in people who are not certified, who we thought could do an exceptional job with our children, and we've been unable to do so. And it would have been a real plus if we could have used some of those people coming in from some really nice professional backgrounds. Young man standing in front of me, he was, I think he was about 8 years old, and he was constantly in trouble for something. And so, me being the sort of the older male figure in the school, I always get the young men, Dr. Sharp, straighten him out. And so I'm looking, I said, what's the problem? Why are you doing what you're doing? And he just looked at me really blank. And I looked at him, and we'd have, for whatever reason, we have white shirts for our kids with ties. And his shirt was literally just filthy. And so we had a student store, and I said, go into the store, get a shirt, put it on, and come back here. He went in, they gave him a shirt, he came back, he was tucking it in, and then I sort of, fixed his collar, and then I watched him walk away. His chest was out, his shoulder was back, and he had this attitude of, wow, look at me. And I just slapped my head and said, we're missing something. We could fix that so quickly by putting a washing machine and a dryer in our school, and then we have closets where kids can bring in and put their clothes and take off the clothes from the shelf that has their name and rack on it. And the kids who do that now, it takes away that barrier of feeling like they don't have something that the other kids have. It's something that simple of looking at what are the reasons that kids are not learning. And those are the kinds of things that we do each year when we sit around in the summer sessions. Okay, what barrier we're going to eliminate this year?
Representative Holder-Winfield.
Thank you. I want to tell you that I appreciate the brevity and clarity of your testimony. I plan to leave here early today because I've been here a lot this week late. And so I figured I would take the opportunity to leave tonight. But then I started listening to some of the parents and some of the students, and I decided that I was going to stay again. The reason I stayed is because I think that the crux of your testimony is what this is all about. We have to fix this. And not only this issue that we're talking about here, but all of the things that we've been talking about. We have to fix the issue of reading. You may know that we're working on some reading legislation, which quite frankly blows my mind, the things that we're working on that don't work and take away the ability of teachers to actually determine where our students are. I can't figure out, there was talk earlier about how we had to let the experts on education funding do some work. Every time we bring up things, we get told about experts. Experts didn't fix that problem. We did some work on whether we suspend people in or out of school. The experts didn't fix that. And by the way, experts had a lot to do with us being where we sit right now. And it is hard for me to watch parents come into this building and have to beg us to do the things that we don't even disagree we need to do, and get told that we need to do it 3 or 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, particularly at a time when we're talking about where the state stands in terms of funding, the ability to meet our responsibilities. And if we do this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road with the changing demographics of the state, and I sound like a broken record, and I'm fine with that because it needs to be hammered into the heads of some of these people who do not understand the importance of what we're talking about. With the changing demographics of the state, we will have a problem that we can't fix, that we cannot deal with. We don't have time for people to say, well, maybe we can do this later. And those experts, by the way, had the opportunity to not only disagree with this, but to provide their own proposal. And I don't see another proposal on the table. And so I thank you again for your brevity, because we do need to fix this, exactly as you said. Thank you.
Thank you.